All right, so I said I was going to do a second video about the problems with the base of the Democratic Party. Uh, the base of the Democratic Party, a big chunk of it, is performative, is entirely performative in a way to make themselves feel better without giving two shits about things like, are we actually winning over new voters? They are performative in a way that is brutally punishing when it comes to things like language. And if you say the wrong thing, even if that's been an acceptable thing to say for 40 years, because those goalposts, it's like we always talk about MAGA moving the goalposts and using whataboutism, but they're constantly moving the goalposts. On the left, the goalposts are constantly moving when it comes to language, and it's impossible to keep up with. It's impossible to keep up with, and it has rendered the left unable to communicate in any effective manner with normal, regular, everyday Americans. Because when normal, everyday Americans communicate with people on the left, they're constantly getting scolded for using wrong terminology or whatever. And I'm talking about the extremes of that. The extremes of that. And we've all experienced that. And it's like the Democratic Party has completely lost its ability or given away its ability to communicate with just normal, everyday people for fear of offending somebody on something. And I think it's like I did a video reply to a buddy of mine's comment earlier tonight, and he referred to the arrogance of the left. And I think that this is kind of what he was referring to. And I mean, it's like I have 3 or 4 specific examples of what I'm talking about in my head right now, but I know that if I actually say them out loud, it's going to be a fucking problem. It's going to be a fucking problem. And that's, I think, what he's talking about. And so I'm not going to say those specific, tangible examples that are in my head. I'm not going to say them out loud. Can't do that on the left. Can't do it. Because if you do, then you're out. And I think that elected Democratic politicians have become so captive of that kind of thing because there are components in the party that are just like, we demand that you do X, Y, and Z. We demand it. And if you don't, you're fucked. But those things are so far outside of where normal, everyday people live that it gives the perception to the voting base of either party that they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anywhere to go. And so they didn't go here where we wanted them to go. It is what the Democrats did to themselves this week is 1,000% 1000% self-inflicted. 1000% self-inflicted. It just is. In the same exact way that all of the people who voted for Donald Trump, when he puts in his tariffs and they lose their Christmas bonuses, they lose their raises because Donald Trump is putting tariffs on the things that their company needs to order from overseas. It's 100% self-inflicted. And the performative bullshit on the left, just to make, the educated elites feel better about whatever. Okay, feel better. Feel better when you're losing. Feel better about whatever, be, even though you lost. Well, we lost, but at least we're not X, Y, and Z. Okay, you lost. You fucking lost. And I don't mean you just lost. Donald Trump won the popular vote for the first time ever in the 2024 election, but at least we're not offending somebody over here. The left and the Democratic Party have become a fucking parody. That in the same way that Trump voters are a parody voting for a candidate who's going to destroy their economic future, but they're voting for it anyway. The entire fucking thing is ridiculous. But we don't want to offend anybody.